guys, I am here with your art lesson for this week. I'm sorry I can't be here to Zoom with you guys live, but I wanted to give you guys a lesson that you could work on during your art time anyways. So we are going to be using a new material that we've never used before in art class. It's called Model Magic, so it's in this little package. It's basically clay, air dry clay. But the nice part with this kind is that it doesn't get all over your hands and it doesn't get anything on your desk. So it's pretty clean. And there's lots of different things we can do with it. Today we are going to use our markers and turn it to a different color. Right now it's just white. We're going to add marker to it to turn it green. And we are going to use the Model Magic and then the piece of cardboard I sent down to make a little Model Magic frog, a little frog sculpture. So this is what it'll look like when we're all done. So we have the lily pad and then we use the Model Magic clay to make a little frog out of it. So the eyes stay white, but the rest of this we are going to use marker to turn it to green. So this is what it'll look like when we're all done. So let me flip you guys down and you can see what supplies we need. So you need the cardboard lily pad that I gave you guys, a package of the clay, and then you're also going to need a green marker and a green crayon if you have it. If you don't have green crayon, that's okay. You can just use the marker. It's fine. But if you have green crayon, that would be great. So that's what you need for the project today. You're going to have to pause or stop the video along the way so everyone can get caught up, because some of the steps take a little bit longer than others. So the first thing I want you to do, using your crayon or the marker, is write your name on the back of the cardboard lily pad. So a lily pad is a really, really big leaf that you find mainly in ponds and lakes. They're green, they kind of have this shape, it almost looks like there's a letter V cut out of them. Sometimes they have flowers growing on them. I've seen white and pink flowers. Sometimes it's just the leaf. And sometimes frogs sit on those to get up out of the water. So that's why we are doing a lily pad. So once you have your name, flip it over and you are going to use the crayon to color the front of your lily pad green. You can add in some lines. You can kind of see my lines in here for the veins. If you want to do that, you can. If your crayon doesn't have paper on it, like I took the paper off of mine, you can set it flat like this and push it back and forth. And that is a pretty quick way to get color all over your lily pad. Okay, so that's the first step. Once that's done, you can set that off to the side. We're done with the lily pad for right now. And then you can open up your clay. And when you take it out of the package, it's just going to be white. It's going to look like this. So you can play with it a little bit. It's really pretty soft. Like I said, it doesn't leave anything on your fingers. It doesn't leave a mess on the table. So it's pretty fun to use. So you can play with it for just a minute, get it loosened up. And what I want you to do first is take just a chunk, small little piece, about that size, and set this piece off to the side. We don't want this piece green because it's going to be used for the eyeballs on our frog. Okay, so we want to keep that part white. So rip this chunk off, set it off to the side for right now. We'll come back to that later. The rest of this, you are going to kind of spread out, press down into a pancake. And what you're going to do, once you get it spread out, this is where we use our marker to turn this green. So you are going to take your marker and take the cap off, and you are coloring all over this clay. All over it. Color right on the top with your marker. Like that. And then to mix it, you're just going to fold it on top of itself and then start pulling it. And you will see right now it looks kind of marbled, if you can see that. It's kind of hard to see. But the more you pull and mix, it will eventually turn green. Now, at first, it's going to be a very light, pale mint green. It is not going to be a bright green, which is fine. You can leave it like this if you want. You can leave it light green if you would like. If you want it darker, then all you're going to do is that same process again. So press it out, color on the top with your marker, all over the top, and then fold and keep mixing until you get the color green or the shade of green that you want, okay? So this might be a spot where you have to pause or stop the video. Make sure everyone has their clay in the color green that they would like, okay? This is another chunk that I have that I put a couple layers on. So once you have your color green, we need to start getting this into smaller pieces that we will use to make our frog. So you need 4 little chunks. I'll show you how to roll these into balls in just a second. We got 4 little chunks. We want 2 medium-sized chunks and 1 really big chunk. To roll these into balls, you set it on your hand, one hand, take your other hand on top, and you just start rolling. Another way is to set it on the desk and roll your hand on the top like this. And then you will get it into a ball. So you want 1 big one. That one is going to be used for the body of our frog. You want 2 medium that will be used for the legs of the frog. And then you want 4 little ones that will be used for the feet. They do not have to be perfectly round. They're going to end up being smushed together anyways to form it. And then that white piece that we just did a second ago, break that into 2 pieces and roll those into balls as well for the eyes. So you want 2 white pieces for the eyes. You want 4 little pieces for the feet, 2 medium pieces for the legs, 1 big piece for the body. Okay? So make sure you have all those pieces. Once you have those pieces, we can start putting our frog together. And again, I'm going to set him over here so you can see what we're working on. This is what it'll look like when we're all done. So you're going to take the big piece first, our body, and 1 of our mediums. The medium, I want you to smush a little bit with your fingers. Flatten it out just a little. Not as thin as a pancake, but smush just a little. So it's about that thick. That is going to get pressed to the side of the big piece. You're going to take the other medium, press it together, or press it flat just a little bit, and flatten that to the other side. So right now it's not really looking like a frog at all. If you watch Star Wars or have seen it, probably looks a little bit like Princess Leia. But it'll look like a frog eventually. Okay? Now we need to take these 4 little green pieces for the feet. So these pieces right here in the front. And you probably have to smush those a little too. And those are going to go right here in the front. Probably still won't look much like a frog yet, and that's okay. So those will get smushed right here in the front. I'm sorry about the camera. I'm not sure why it's zooming like that, but so these are supposed to look like the feet. Now the last step, and feel free to squish these and push them together however you want. The last step is to take those 2 white pieces for the eyes and plop them right on top. Now it probably looks a little more like a frog. And the very last step to add these details on, you use a marker. I used black. You can use whatever color you want. And you do dots on the white for the eyes. I did little dots right here for the nostrils and then drew a mouth. And then I did tiny little lines on all 4 of the feet to make it look like feet and to make it stand out. So you can do all of those details or just a couple onto your frog. And then you have a frog. So like I said at the beginning, this is air dry clay. So that means that you need to set this on a windowsill or on a shelf somewhere in your room that is safe and let it sit for about 2 days, and it will dry completely and harden. That way you can take it home, and if you happen to bump it or drop it, it's not going to break or smush back together. So let this sit somewhere for 2 days. If you want your frog to be on this lily pad and stick to the lily pad all the time, you can add a drop of glue to the bottom of your frog and set it back down on the lily pad, and it will hook to the lily pad and stay there. Okay, so let these sit in your room somewhere for a couple days until they are hardened, and you'll be able to feel the difference between how they are now and when they're dry. You'll be able to tell that it's a little harder and more firm than it is right now. Once they are dry completely, then you are free to take them home. I don't need them back. If you have any extra supplies, so if you have any extra packages of the clay because someone was absent, or any of the extra lily pads, just put those back inside the plastic bag and put them outside your room in the mailbox, and I will come around and grab them because I will definitely use the clay again if it's not being used. So I hope you liked this. I hope you enjoyed using Model Magic and trying something new and making the little frogs. So after they're dry, you are free to take them home. And I will see you guys next time for art. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.